I had a completely different talk planned. And then yesterday at the end of the teaching with Geshe Tapke, something was said that just hit me on the head like a hammer. And of course, Jewel Hart was thanking him for these magnificent teachings he's been giving. And then of course, the request is made, please let's continue these teachings and finish them. And his response to this was just hilarious and also profound. He said, well, yes, and we're grasping at permanence. Meaning, who knows what will happen? So I don't know how you heard this, but of course my first thought was, I guess we shouldn't assume that Geshe Tapke will be here in a few months from now or a year from now. And that was just stupidity on my part. I mean, it could be me who's not here a few weeks or a few months from now. And so that got me really thinking about this whole thing about grasping at permanence and what a problem it is, and how it really obscures my view of who's in front of me, and just the fact that, definitely at some point, this life will end, and it's not known. Now, I know all this intellectually. I can say it. I can say it in my sleep. But there's been a few things that have happened lately that keep drawing my attention to the fact that it is simply an intellectual understanding. So maybe you've had the experience of watching a movie that was made about 52 years ago. And you look at these characters and the story is really emotionally engaging, and it's based on history, and it really is a very good teaching. And then out of curiosity, you maybe go and Google all the characters who were in the movie 52 years ago. And so to my great surprise, all of these people have aged. Like, come on, Samton. Everyone looks different. About half the cast has passed away. And then sadly, two of the main characters in the one movie I'm thinking of, the one woman died within 2 years of that movie being released. So she died in about 1973 of breast cancer. Had she had that same diagnosis now, there's a very good chance she would still be alive. And another main character died in the late 80s of AIDS. Again, if he had gotten the diagnosis now, there's a very good chance he would be alive. So just seeing this shift and looking even at a movie, which is not, these are people playing parts, but then there are real people doing the acting in this, and just seeing my surprise that they've aged so much, some of them, that they're unrecognizable. Well, hello, this happens. We don't look like we did when we were 1 year old. So then another example that comes to mind, and it bugs me every time I go to my hometown. About 25 years ago, they tore down my high school. My high school. They tore it down. And as Joni Mitchell clearly told us this would happen over and over again, they paved Paradise and put up a parking lot. This is what they did. It's now my high school. Not yours, mine. They paved it and they put up a strip mall. So every time I go past this site of 6 years, of mostly pain and suffering, it wasn't paradise, the experience of it, but it was, a time of deep transition. I see the parking lot, I see the strip mall, and I'm just infuriated that they would do this. And then, of course, if you were blindfolded and transported into the parking lot of this particular strip mall, and then the blindfold is taken off, you would have no clue where you were in North America, because it looks like every other strip mall on the whole continent. Maybe there's some differences in Mexico, but really, a parking lot, really? So again, of course, things are going to change. And of course, I'm seeing this through the self-centered thought and self-grasping at this permanence, that they should have left that high school alone and just put that thing somewhere else and have this as a memorial to everyone who went to that school. I don't know. And then, of course, there's some things that happen where there's the opinion that someone's favorite color is purple. And what's the other one, Bemel Semke?
Blushing veil.
Blushing veil. So this opinion is expressed that someone's favorite colors are just purple and blushing veil. It's always the case that those are her favorite colors, and that she likes the crust of toast, which apparently both are not true, but this opinion keeps being proliferated, and it never changes. She just has this view, those are the favorite colors. There's a conversation going on here that I'd love to hear. Anyway, and then, basically since I came here in about 2008, I've been described as a 98-pound weakling. Now, since 2008, my weight has actually fluctuated quite a bit, and I have always weighed more than 98 pounds. But what's to be contested here? 98-pound weakling? That part, the 98 pounds isn't so true anymore. I'm more than that. The weakling, totally true. Mentally, totally true. Weakling. So that I have no problem with. That's like telling me I have a nose in my face. The 98 pounds, it's different. But the Clincher this year, there's so many examples of grasping at permanence, and just look what they do, to the mind. So the Clincher this year was getting an email from my sister during retreat because the family was making prayer requests for one of the friends that I had during elementary school, well, even before elementary school. We were in the same little preschool dance group at age 4. And then we went through school in elementary school and junior high and senior high. And she's the person who got me through high school math. Definitely, it was due to her efforts. So we were friends really closely in those years. And I got the message that she died suddenly on January 10th. And I was shocked. And the shock just was for many reasons. I thought, wow, this is not the time for her to die. This is not the time. She just finished her career because she was a research scientist and her boss actually closed the lab. So she decided, I'll stop working now. My kids are grown. I'm going to work on the house with my husband, and we got travel plans. I've got all these other plans to do things. She had plans. And all of a sudden, on January 10th, her life stopped. In the morning, she didn't know she was going to die. There's nothing wrong with her. In the afternoon at lunch, when she had lunch with her husband, she didn't know she was going to die. In the evening, she didn't know she was going to die. And then later that evening, kaboomo, she passed away. And so what I really had to admit to, I've had people younger than me die, closer than Kathy die. But this one really hit me this time because you know what? I saw that could have been me. I could have been the one to go on January 10th. Why not? Why not? And so this grasping at permanence makes me really blind to what the reality of the situation is. And I can't see the person in front of me if I'm grasping at permanence. And I think she is always going to vote for purple, and that I'm always going to be 98 pounds, and I'm always going to be a weakling. And we just box people in with this view of permanence. They're just going to be like that. Oh, I know what she's going to say. I know what she's going to say. Sure enough, she says it. See, I'm right. She said it. But then someday she'll say something else, because everyone's changing moment by moment. And so it's kind of fun to look at this, make it into a game to see where we're just imprisoning ourselves with this view of permanence and how we can't see the person in front of us because of this view, because they're always going to be like that. That's simply not true. And then to realize, that the clock is ticking, it's any time to die, any time to die. And that there's, not to put off thanking someone or expressing gratitude. I don't think I told Kathy often enough how grateful I was that she got me through grade 12 math. So I'm sad about that, and many other things I could have told her. But yeah, to not put that off. And to see, as Shantideva says in verse 16 of chapter 4, although today I am healthy, well-nourished, and unafflicted. Well, I'm not sure about that. Life is momentary and deceptive. The body is like an object on loan, but for a minute. So definitely, I hope we have more teachings from Geshe Tepke. I hope I'm alive to get them. I'm sure he'll be alive. And let's take advantage of every opportunity to have a sincere, realistic connection with others that's in the present and not covered over by the mind that's fabricating things that are made up or things that are just out of date. Oh, why mindfulness of impermanence is very important. Otherwise, yes, mindfulness of impermanence. Well, I thought I. Well, I thought I just said that, but let me see if I can say it in a different way. So that there's no wasting of time and that we can appreciate what's going on in the moment. What am I missing, Venerable Children? I'm not sure I'm on the same wavelength.
I'm going to enjoy all the strawberries I eat. That's the purpose of remembering impermanence and death. Oh, these strawberries were fantastic. So what? What good does that do me or anybody else?
Well, that's not the one you want to pay attention to. That these experiences are fleeting and that there's certain things that do bring happiness. And indulging in appreciating strawberries is just such a temporary thing, and it's just for this life. I'm not thinking that I'm on your same wavelength yet.
Okay, go back and read Lamrim.
Okay, well, with that.
And also the movie you mentioned talks about impermanence. Sunrise, sunset.
Why don't you tell us? Because everyone's going to watch this and they're going to think, well, 98-pound weakling is going to sign off now.